is just fantastic.
Jew is not a fucking ethnic. Jewish is not an ethnicity. This constructed ethnicity. This demonic ethnicity.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the recent unbanning of MikeFromPA. I believe he's a part of Central Committee, if memory serves. He's a pain in the arse. He's another one of these orbiters that says some really heinous and horrendous, yes, heinous and horrendous things against people of differing backgrounds, yet somehow thinks it's okay for him to say it because he's on the left, guys, and that makes it okay. Turns out if you go too far one way, you end up back where the other side is when they're too far the other way. It's Horseshoe Theory 101. To aptly demonstrate how much of a smeg for brain this guy is, I'm going to go back to early June with a few clips from then, July, to now, along with tweets where he has been mentioned by the likes of Ethan Klein and Asmongold to discuss this cretin. In early June, Yeet had tweeted, MikeFromPA talks about how you're supposed to engage with Asmongold, Tectone, and people like them, by saying the following.
They have to be on the defense. You want to get back at Asmongold? Don't argue with him about Palestine. Call him a cockroach. Post the cockroach video. Post a video about him not taking a shower. Post the video of him catching his mom on fire with cigarettes.
That's right, guys. When you can't have civil discourse, you attack everything about that person's existence to try and break them mentally. That's a healthy way of going about it. If the sarcasm sign was required for that, I'm very sorry. But don't worry, that clip's not over, and you should get the full context of what Mike really thinks.
That's how you fight back. You don't fight back by making arguments about Palestine. You want to make arguments about Palestine? That's fine. But you want to argue with Asmongold? You need to bring up his disgusting house, the filth he lives in, the trash he's surrounded by, the rotten rat alarm clock. That's how you deal with these people. Tectone, you bring up his rapist father. You bring up all the sexual charges that are against him. You fight these people on the ground they live on.
The funny thing is, none of them have to resort to doing the same to Mike. They don't have to, because Mike's mouth writes checks. He can't cash them, and he is, while somewhat protected, he is starting to see consequence, although there is a disparity in the severity of consequence. I don't like the idea of going after Asmongold for his personal habits, nor his parents. I consider that beyond low, and I would apply the same to Tectone, because I get the feeling that's often misconstrued for the sake of a cheap gotcha, and that's the area of the internet many of these political commentator types inhabit. It's not about the discourse or deep conversation or trying to reach resolution through verbal means. No, it's I'm going to drag you down to the lowest common denominator so you don't hear my actual position. It's cheap, and it's why Mike, like many, get a lot of attention. Now, skip ahead to June 13th, flaccid turkey sausage. MikeFromPA violates TOS multiple times in a racist rant about Cubans full of racial slurs, including the words, and also the community guidelines.
Beautiful thing. What do you mean, like, not much to be proud of here? Bro, come on, seriously? Like,
I think, like, one of the things that low IQ Destiny, the only reason he's in this country is because our country passed the wet foot, dry foot policy for Cuban immigrants to encourage them to steal money from Cuba when our American-backed dictator was overthrown. The only reason he's in this country, this fucking Gusano bitch.
If one thinks they are truly free of any consequence, they are going to say as much as they like because they believe they are entitled to use those words cause. Now, I do believe in absolute freedom of speech. I really do. I don't like this idea that language is in any way restricted by government or by people. I don't like it. However, I'm not so stupid as to think that I could say that kind of stuff on Twitch, even with my much smaller audience. If you don't have the standard and values not to attack someone based on nationality, race, heritage, chances are you are a low-hanging fruit type. We're not done though, and I want to play more of that, because context, guys.
Is because they passed a special policy just for Cubans called wet foot, dry foot. And so if you got to dry land as a Cuban, you were given legal status. They had open borders for Cuban immigrants just to encourage as many people to steal money and resources from Cuba as possible to try to destroy the country because we were mad that our dictator got overthrown. What a f***ing rat. What a disgusting rat.
In case you didn't know, when it comes to differing political perspectives, or if you're on the same side, in this case, with Destiny and Mike, it is though one rule for me but not for thee. Turns out no one actually wants to be a community, as many like to champion. Actually, they want to be the voice of that community, with no equals, so they can be the arbiter of truth, they can be the authority on fact, and they can be the biggest arsehole without consequence, believing themselves uncancelable to the wider space. On the 3rd of July, Yeet again had tweeted, Dan and Destiny allege that MikeFromPA broke Twitch TOS today by doxing. Dan Clancy is reportedly aware as he replied to an email saying you should just report through our standard channels. Quote, feels super against TOS, F it, Asmongold was talking about unleashing his audience. Doxing is against TOS. There are 2 clips on that tweet, so let's have a look at those.
With you, if this isn't permanent ban for him, Asmongold should go ham on anyone. Like, if you're gonna be able to do this to people on Twitch and nothing happened, then fuck it. Like, Asmongold was talking about unleashing his audience, then like, well, let these communities fight at this point. Like Godzilla versus Mothra.
Asmongold wouldn't be able to get away with it. Neither would I, because we would actually get hardcore called out for it.
It's a sad state of affairs when you have to rely on another creator to call someone out because you know you yourself will face consequences for addressing clear and obvious violations of terms of service, and we all know Dan Clancy will not properly punish anyone who orbits the piker of Hassan. Here's a clip from the second video before we continue.
Okay.
Finsanas. This guy's account is an old account. I want you guys to do everything you can to find Finsane's posts on every website. Let's find it out. Let's find out what his public posts are. The internet is public posting.
This feels super against Twitch's terms of service. Like, no?
I mean, I agree. I want to say like 6 years ago, I think I caught a ban, or maybe not me, but I think somebody else did. Because one of the funny, Caseytron might have actually, one of the funny things to do when shouters would with you is you would just start Googling their like Twitters and stuff to see like who these people were.
You mean like Hassan has done, and he didn't get into trouble for, when he doxed the wrong person, because he's an idiot. Yeah, it turns out there is some preferential treatment involved. Now, skipping ahead to the 15th of July, MikeFromPA got some attention from Ethan Klein. MikeFromPA is caught raging against the inevitability of dying alone. He is a 40-year-old, single, unkempt, and physically repulsive loser. That is why he keeps DMing AB unhinged. Stuff like this. AB has never responded, by the way. Don't tell Mike it's 18 days off in June. In the second part, he shows a further DM. How do you live with yourself, man, working for that guy? Do you ever feel bad about it? Is the money at least good? Yeah. There's something weird about continuing to message somebody over a period of time in the knowledge they're not replying to you. In this case, it feels like an attempt from Mike to try and drag people away from Ethan, and Ethan is still winning of this, by the way. Hell, Frogan's just got her default judgment thing extended to August, or bought herself some time until at some point this month, a few weeks from now, is it? You know, I can't remember, but I know she got an extension. Mike trying to insert himself is a quaint tactic from somebody who really needs more of a life. Now, recently, 7 days ago in fact, 4 minutes and 14 seconds, Central Committee, so Mike, was banned on Twitch, right, for calling the Jewish people a demonic race. Something you heard earlier, by the way, guys. A clip of which he had tried to off every Reddit, every forum, on every platform, because he desperately did not want anyone to have access to that clip. You said it, Mike, and the internet is forever. TechZone underneath streamer bans when Mike was unbanned pointed out, you call a 300-pound woman fat, you get banned for 2 weeks. You call Jews a demonic race 1 week. Nah bro, Twitch is anti-Semitic AF. There is certainly something wrong here. A discrepancy in how one chooses to deal with obvious violations of rules. Twitch have never been good at making sense, and much of the communication involved with this making sense is incredibly limited to a room full of geriatrics. Yes, Dan Clancy, I saw the room you all operate in. You should all be in care homes at this point. Now, with Mike being unbanned, Asmongold had something to say about it.
A week off and he can just relax and chill out, man. And, you know, because again, now all the eyes are going to be on him. The moment that he does anything else wrong, he's going to get suspended again instantly. Everybody's going to talk about it. And at that point, it's going to bring this up again. And Twitch will probably permaban him if he does it again. Realistically, or they'll give him a 1-month suspension, right?
I wonder if it was worth it, though, for him to lose a week, to take it all off because you had to be openly racist because you don't accept Jewish people as a race. That's cute. It's a very dangerous thing to do. Very dangerous, in fact. On social media, it's, well, beyond... It's moronic on a level of smegheadery I don't think we can truly quantify. But you, Mike, did it. I wonder if it was worth getting that Twitch award that's pinned on your Twitter if in a few months, because you can't stop writing checks with your mouth, you lose everything in the process. You could cite going to another platform, but you'd be very much alone on places like Rumble where you won't go. Although I think you should restream to other platforms anyway. I really do think you should be more present so more of us can see your smegheadedness.
You said, what do you mean no half measures? What do you mean relax? Well, what I'm saying, I said that if they kept them banned for like a period of time, I'd be like, okay, a week is like not good, but it's not like awful, right? And so that's basically it. It'll probably get more views now. Yeah, definitely. A week for being blatantly anti-Semitic is wild. Well, he should have never gotten a week for it to begin with. He should have never gotten suspended because he should have been banned in the past.
Turns out when you go so far down a rabbit hole and come out the other side and turns out you found the other people, that horseshoe thing loops back, doesn't it? People try and justify shady things like doxing. They try and justify horrible things like racism, intolerance towards groups of people based on faith, identity, creed, any kind of belief system. When you denigrate and use language designed to antagonize and create the greatest of stirs, you run the risk of what you, Mike, had to live with, and that's a week of a ban for being a racist prick, which is what you are. You can't say you're anything else, really. You can't say you're tolerant because you're intolerant. You can't say you're accepting because apparently you're not. To many differing groups, we've proved that in this today, in fact. If this had happened to somebody who didn't share your beliefs, were on the other side of the political aisle, they would have been perma-banned in a heartbeat. I would say a finger snap, but I think a blink would be more appropriate. You were in Thanos, and you wouldn't be brought back. Now, as we're at the end of this topic, I'd love to know what you all think about MikeFromPA, the Central Committee. Basically a commie, but not. A champagne commie. It's a strange one. Do let me know in the comments. I am streaming here early today-ish, when I get back from the bakery, basically. Yeah. Hope to see you there. If not, have a wonderful day. I'm streaming on Moistonian Live tomorrow, so I'm not worth a cork. Hope to see you there for a good whiskey stream. Again, if not, have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for listening.